call the meeting to order. And at this time, we'll pause to seek guidance. Everybody's got the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions? And if not, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Thank you. There's no presentation tonight. There's no dangerous and unsightly premises. You've got the minutes of December the 13th. Can I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Old business, business arising. Update possible trip to China. That's me. I got the itinerary that they wanted to do for January, and it fell exactly when we were going to be in our strategic planning session with Gordon McIntosh. So I had to say, well, no, we can't go then. It's not going to fit. And Ben was feeling the same way. January wasn't going to work for him because the town's looking at doing some strategic planning during the month of January as well. This trip starts, well, I got the itinerary here. They're going to leave on January. Let me back up first. I had a phone call meeting with Timothy Abinsky, the warden from Annapolis County. It was Ben and myself and Peter McCullen, which talked about, the timing and everything. And Timothy and John Ferguson from Annapolis County are still going to go in January, but they're going they're going with Annapolis Basin Conference Center, Beth Earl, and they're going because of the contract or the agreement they've got going with ABCC with David Wong. So that's their intent to go. So what we discussed was that when they get back, we're going to talk to Timothy to find out, okay, did you feel it was outside of that piece, do you feel that it's beneficial to entertain going over there? What's the benefit going to be? And so we're going to wait to hear back from him. So basically everything's on hold until they get back, and then we'll find out. Just to go over an overview of what the agenda was, the first 2 days is basically travel, so of the trip. Third day, they're going to do a cultural tour of the Great Wall and the Olympic Stadium and the Silk Street. Day 4 is another cultural tour, but then they're going to in the morning, and then they're going to depart from Beijing to, I can't say it, but it's XUZHOU. And then they're going to take a van to Sugan for 1 hour, and then a welcome banquet that evening. Then they've got down activity for day 5, activities for day 6, activities for day 7 in a different city, activities for day 8 in the same city, and then activities day 9 in another city, and then day 10, the morning, it's going to be activities, which I take it to be business meetings or whatever they're going to have set up. Then they're going to depart for Shanghai in the afternoon. On day 11, they've got a cultural tour, and then they depart Shanghai for Halifax. So that's the extent of the trip. So there is a lot of activity, but without knowing what the meetings are or what they're going to be talking about or who they're going to see, it's hard to tell whether or not what the benefits are. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of the trip will be really business related. So actually, and it was true to what he said, the cost is $2,500 a delegate, but there's also a $150 visa application fee, and emergency medical insurance isn't included. That's all I've got. But anyway, I wanted to give everybody an update on where we were with that, and the main reason why you hadn't heard back from me sooner was because of the timing that they were going to have this. And as soon as I found out the time, I said, we just can't do it, because we had already booked in with Gordon McIntosh for our session for strategic planning. So when Timothy gets back and John gets back, we'll find out more, and go from there. Any questions? Okay. All right. to move on to new business then, the DATA 2017 Soulscape exhibition. And we've got the same request that we had last year. Yes.
Do we know or remember how much the amount was last year?
No, and I'm not sure there was a financial. It was more of Rob's time and commitment to be there. But they were going to try, and I think here there's no actual financial ask specifically, but they were hoping to get money to offset the cost of the booth, and if not, then they would come to us. But I think the majority, and I don't know if he's asking for that again, for the majority of the time, it was like Rob's commitment to be up there and spend the day and his cost of helping to organize it. But I don't know.
Would it be beneficial, and I'm just asking because I don't know, that as counselors, if we have to go, instead of making poor Rob have to do all this,
I think Rob enjoys doing it, and he that's his thing.
But we were just saying in the previous meeting that he's doing into tourism when we really don't want him there. We want him in his own job. That's why I'm asking.
I think for this, Rob ends up doing a lot of the screen, either rental, the display setup. It's really, he's the hands-on, the look of the booth is mostly what he does, and the cooking, the scallops, the tourism facilitator is the right term, but the tourism people kind of do the interaction with the public. That's not really what his role is, making sure that they have different screens or TVs, and like I say, it's really the look of the booth and how that works is where they've decided he kind of fits in, and like I say, he doesn't mind that side of it. Last year, and I think Greg kind of mentions it here about they ask for this assistance. Usually I think they need some of the money up front, and then once they nail down their members that are going, they chip in and give us back. So I don't think it has cost us anything the last 2 years, but to come up with that money up front and get solid commitments from their people is a bit challenging sometimes.
Yeah, they have to book the booth.
Yeah, I thought we had forwarded upfront some money last year. I don't know how much, but we did. And then they sell their booth or their spots to their whatever, and we get their money back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just asking because of what had been said.
Okay, so
I also move that we again give assistance to data as we have done in the previous 2 years with our staff person and financial assistance up front with possible repayment after from data.
So the seconder, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. And the next new business is Jacqueline Jan09, Nova Scotia 150 Forward Fund Letter of Support.
I so move that we give Jacqueline Jan09 a Nova Scotia 150 Forward Fund Letter of Support for her knitting project.
Do we have a seconder?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I have
Approved.
one question. Is this Roberta's daughter?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought it was interesting when she said she's going to talk to the men too, because I assume then she's talking about the knitters of the bait bags that used to happen and stuff.
That would be Roberta's daughter, Jackie.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know, but I just wondered.
No, I met her. She was with her mother at an event somewhere. She's retired, so she must be down in Weymouth now with her.
Oh, okay.
Or Westport.
What?
The letter's from Westport. Return address is Westport.
Well, I think it's her daughter, but I'm not.
Like I said, I didn't know, but that it wasn't.
She's got a daughter with that
What
name.
I liked about it was honestly talking to the men and their knitting, and all I was thinking about is bait bags and stuff and how that is going to the wayside. Plus talking to the women of different areas and our foreign immigrants.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to now move on to the Chief Administrative Officer's report, and with the meeting dates and reminders. Tomorrow there's a Wren meeting in Yarmouth. The 16th and 17th we have a council retreat with Lord McIntosh. The says there start times on Monday to be confirmed, but I think we've got that confirmed
did that
now.
today.
We did that today. January 23rd at 3:30 p.m. we're going to have council pictures, and then at 6 o'clock we've got the council meeting. On January 30th there's no meeting. February the 6th at 5 p.m. we have council with TIR. And then following that at 6 o'clock, we will have bylaw and policy meeting. On February the 13th, we'll have committee of the whole at 5 p.m. On February 20th, there's no meeting because it's a Heritage Day. February 27th at 6 p.m., we have council. And now we'll go on to the CAO update. Are there any questions for the CAO pertaining to the update?
I just wanted to highlight that the recommendation regarding the standing offer for engineering services, from the 8 RFPs, we have selected, they're called EHP services, and they were down on Thursday, and myself and Barry met with them, spent the morning, and then Barry took them on a tour of all our infrastructure, and they actually I'm very pleased with them and meeting them, and just someone I think we can work with. Stacy Muse is actually from Yarmouth. He's one of the main ones that we'll be dealing with. I mean, the company is out of Halifax, but certainly they have a lot of local connections. So.
On here also, the Canada Legacy Society, Tales of Tapestry. The updates there, but they had last week there was a conference call, phone call meeting regarding that, and then just before the meeting tonight, I got a text from John Ferguson, and they've submitted an application into the federal government and the provincial government for funding, and they're asking for $800,000, right around that. And so pending whether they get that funding or not, they want to move forward with this project. Now it's a smaller scale than what was first originally proposed, and originally they put an application in for $2 million, but it got rejected. And I think they've been kind of encouraged to resubmit, saying that there would be a smaller project probably would get support. So until we know for sure, we won't know until they hear back from the feds and the province on that. But the other thing too from that is at the meeting on, what was it, Friday? Thursday last week. Anyway,
Thursday, I think.
we had, Linda was on the committee before, and then we were told to disband. They were going to disband the whole thing. They didn't actually disband the society with the Societies Act and all that, so they kept it. So now they want to have every unit reappoint somebody back on that committee. So I can go on it, or you can go back on it, whatever you choose. If you want.
I was very comfortable with it.
Yeah. Well, if you want to go back on it,
Sure.
I mean, because I know you were there from day one.
Yeah.
So that's on the agenda actually for council, because we need two motions, one to appoint somebody and another one to rescind the motion to dissolve the corporate, or the society.
So we'll do that on council. Okay. Okay, and well, is there any other questions for the CAO pertaining to the report? Hearing none, you've got the department reports. Is there any questions? I had one with the RCMP piece. It says the Department of Justice has a final report, and they're going to be contacting us in early January, but they haven't talked to us yet.
No, they haven't reached out yet.
Okay.
I think they want to do a joint session with both councils, so
Okay.
I have a feeling January, it's not going to happen in January.
No.
I'm trying to get two councils together.
No. The next thing is the regional tourism VIC kiosk. That was something that I had been pushing for. Well, just the backgrounder on that, I don't know if that's something that we could pursue, because in Halifax, down on the waterfront, they're redoing the whole waterfront. There's a big new development going in, $200 million, and that's right where these kiosks were.
Yeah.
But in saying that, the Halifax Waterfront Development Corporation is still going to have 20 kiosks on the waterfront. They're just going to relocate them. they wanted people to put in submissions that was due in about another week, and you would have to sign a 5-year contract. So that would not work for us for this project, because it's hard to. I was envisioning a pilot project, maybe potentially could grow into longer than that, but you wouldn't want to make a commitment for 5 years and find out that you didn't have the resources to support it. So what I would like to do is talk to the Department of Tourism again, because when I was in the city last year, I spoke to representatives from the Department of Tourism around their tourism, the VIC they have downtown, and there was potentially some opportunities for us to do some promotion through them. And also, inside that building they have downtown, that was a theater, and that building was built as an interpretive building for World War II ship that used to be tied up there. They now use the building as a VIC, but the theater part, they use it as a storage room. So they basically did it full of their stuff, their brochures and all that. My thought is, with what our local tourism association has just done with the vignettes that they've come up with, and potentially if these vignettes are done for the region, it would be a great place to showcase those, and if they could run those inside that tourist bureau. So that would be something that I'd like to see, is have an opportunity to talk to them about. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. I can't see going forward with the idea of a kiosk right now, not with a 5-year contract that you'd have to sign. Update from previous action items. Is there anything? I'm trying to find it here.
It's in the report.
Okay.
It's in my report. I guess nothing, unless
No.
somebody has. I'm still waiting to hear from Dwayne Surratt, and actually I'm going to call him this week to see if he's available to come speak to council regarding the weather conditions during the lobster season.
I guess the other thing too that's in your report is that the RIN had put out an RFP, and it closes on March the 13th for people to.
No, it actually closed. The RFP
What
was
am I
for
looking at?
project management, and
Yeah.
that closed last week.
That closed last week?
Yeah, and then, so the March 13th is the deadline for the funding for the application to the federal government.
Oh, right, yes.
So-
Sorry, I'm looking at the
And
wrong thing.
I didn't have a chance today to speak to Evan to see if there were any responses and who they, I know they were going to review them last Thursday, so.
Okay. Capital project update. Okay, correspondence, information on Wharf Rat Rally. Basically, that's a brochure that they'd given out when they did their information session at the fire hall. And pretty interesting to see how they've grown, like 8 society members in 2015, and then 2016 they had 34. So there's been a good recruitment and good buy-in with the new management. They were, for the first time, they actually provided their financials, and they gave information out to the public, which was lacking in the past, and there was a lot of people that were very, they wanted to know where the money went. They wanted to know how they spent their money and where it went, and they did a good job on doing a presentation on that at the fire hall. And so this is just a bit of a little information on what they've come up with so far with the revenues and their expenses. Still not self-sufficient. The last thing on correspondence, we had a thank you letter from the Island Consolidated School regarding the Democracy and Youth Theme Week in Ottawa for the spring of 2017, and they're going to be sending a student. There's no in camera, right? Motion for adjournment, then.
So
Can I just-
Okay, man.
go forward first? Oh, you're going to adjourn? I just wanted to highlight, I know in Rob's report, I just wanted to highlight that the Flag Day ceremony, and I don't have that in my calendar, I just saw it here. The Flag Day ceremony is going to be at St. Mary's Bay Academy on February 15th at 2:15.
Yeah, I saw
I'm
that.
sure invitations will probably go out, but
Yeah, I put it in my calendar at 1. That means from 1
to get there.
to get there.
George?
Back last spring or early summer, we had talked about having somebody come down from municipal affairs or whatever, from the provincial government to talk about pros and cons of amalgamation or unity or whatever. Did we ever go ahead with that, or did we make any plans about him coming down? Or?
Mark Peck came down and spoke with us.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
spoke, yeah, he came down and spoke to us about it.
Okay.
But he came and spoke to us, but we didn't get into the nitty-gritty as to the cost. We didn't.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have somebody come down and give us the benefits of, like, money-wise, like how much you could save or how much more it would cost.
I don't know, they won't be able to tell us that without doing in-depth studies. And the only time they'll do those studies will be if we actually apply to merge with the town. I think the decision from that was that we wouldn't talk about it until after the election. In terms of them providing studies, they would, those are like $200,000 studies.
Yeah.
In order to provide that type of information. So,
Okay.
It's one of the things that I highlighted for when we go to a strategic planning session. It's one of the things that on the list, what we submitted. That's one of the things I wrote down, just to talk about. So, anything else? Hearing nothing, can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
All right.
Approved. Thank you.
James fixed now.